Hello, this is Z, and welcome to Healing with Z, a space of intentional living where you find natural ways to take care of the mind, the body, and the soul. So, today I come to you guys because I wanted to talk to you about another seizure that happened that had me quite disappointed because I had gone 34 days seizure free. And then I wake up on November 15th. I woke up and I went to the bathroom and I did what I did, and then I went to go wash my hands and realized when I was washing my hands that something was hurting in my mouth. And when I looked in the mirror, I had bitten my tongue. And so that's when I realized that I had a seizure, because the seizures now, what seems to be happening is that they are happening while I'm asleep. They are tonic-clonic nocturnal seizures. And the only way that I know that I had a seizure is because I wake up and my whole side of my tongue is all bitten up and the side of my lip. So that's what happened on the 15th, which was quite disappointing after 34 days of no activity. And I was like really counting like, oh my God, we are moving and it's looking good. And then that happened. While I went through those emotions, I will admit I was sad, I was disappointed, and I did sit in my sadness for a little bit before I decided to snap out of it and figure out what am I doing that I'm not supposed to be doing, or what is my body needing that it's not currently needing, because I really, really believe that my body is asking for something, it's needing something, or it's there's something there that's not supposed to be there. Because the fact that this all is happening at age 40 is something that I cannot reconcile with. Like, I wasn't born with this. I don't have a family history of this illness. So why is it happening? Which to me is saying my body has been whispering to me for a while. I have not been paying attention. Now it's screaming. Now I have these seizures. So after the November 15th seizure happened, I went to go see an epileptologist on November 17th to try to understand what is happening. To say I was disappointed is an understatement. I was so disappointed. I went to this appointment. First, I waited an hour for the appointment that I made. I had an appointment. It's not like I walked in, but I was like, you know what? Just give it some time and see. Maybe it's, going to be better than my time that I spent at the neurologist. And so I went to this appointment and I met with the epileptologist, and you know what happened? He listened to the story as to how all of this started. And all he said was, we are going to give you a different type of medication. So I was prescribed this, I don't know how to pronounce it, Excopri. This is the prescription that I was given. And they asked me to go and pick this up at the pharmacy, and they gave me the sample saying, you're going to have to take this in the first week, and then this, and then, I can then go pick up my prescription and continue taking these. Did they wanted to find out what happened? How this all started? Did they care to find out what is the underlying cause of it? Because there is clearly an underlying cause. I just have not figured it out, but I believe there is an underlying cause. There has to be. Something doesn't just come out of the blue like that. There has to be an underlying cause. I just haven't figured it out yet. But my goal is to figure out what is wrong with me. That is my goal. And even if it's the last thing I do on this earth, but my goal is to figure out why this is happening, you know? So I got the sample. I didn't take it. I never went to go pick up the prescription that they called in to my pharmacy. And I don't plan on taking it because why? 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 Because all the pills that they gave me to this point hasn't helped. I was prescribed Keppra. Keppra just made things worse. And because it made things worse, I was prescribed other stuff to offset the side effects of the Keppra. And then after the Keppra, they were like, oh, here, try Briviat. Briviat was touted as the Mercedes-Benz of anticonvulsant medication. And I'm like, no, I don't want to take medication. I don't want to numb the symptoms with medication. I need to understand what it is that is going on in my body. My body is trying to communicate to me something, and me throwing a pill and trying to shut it up is not going to help the situation. It's going to make things worse. I have read enough testimonies from people in this epilepsy group, by the way, that I've now been blocked and kicked out of. And I don't even know why, because all I have been communicating in that group was that we all have our own path. And I was just telling my story. I wasn't trying to influence anybody to go about their illness my way. I was merely sharing my story. And the last post that I post on Sunday, I was merely just being positive. You know, I wrote a post. It was a positive Sunday. It was, you know, to look at the week ahead and letting people know that, yes, we are going through this, but this is not the end. Just remain positive and whatever, and wishing everybody, you know, good luck in whatever they're dealing with. And then later that day, I could no longer access the group. Which is fine. That's okay. You know, like they have been trying to shut me down anyway, which is okay because some people, we will not all get along. We will not all agree on how we choose to treat our illnesses. So it's okay. It's okay. It is fine. I will go ahead and I will create a holistic seizure control group on Facebook where I can freely talk about how I choose to heal my body, and a space that encourages other people who choose to go the alternative route to express and share their stories. You know, where nobody's going to be filtered, nobody's going to be blocked, nobody's going to be tried to be silenced when they are trying to communicate the way they choose to heal themselves. So, yes, that happened. I am no longer in the epilepsy group on Facebook because of the fact that I got kicked out of the group. They blocked me. So, if you guys don't see me there anymore, it's because I've been blocked. But that is okay. I had another seizure on Monday, which is 9 days since the last seizure, which is a little unusual because normally this far they've been happening once a month. Every 5 to 6 weeks, I would get one seizure. This time though, in November, I've had 2 9 days apart, which is very unusual. The only different thing that I remember doing on Sunday night is that I took my kids to a skating rink. And at that skating rink, they had the disco lights that were like, you know, flashing disco lights. And I sat there for about 2.5 hours while they were like roller skating. And I thought to myself, I don't think I am triggered by flashing lights, because I mean, I've been to the skating rink multiple times before, prior to me, you know, suffering from seizures, and nothing happened. But I wanted to see if anything were to happen, you know, on Sunday. But I was there for the 2.5 hours and nothing happened. Like, we came back home. I got the kids ready for bed, put them to sleep. And then I had rooibos tea. And in this rooibos tea, I added a half a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. That was one thing that I have never done before. And then I drank my tea, unsweetened, and then I went to sleep. I didn't sleep good the night before. And I remember I had mentioned that to a friend of mine that I didn't sleep proper the night before. And then on Sunday night, I was sleeping with my son, and he snores a lot. He's like 6 years old, and he snores when he sleeps. So I wasn't sleeping okay then either. But I guess eventually I fell asleep. And then at 4 a.m., I had a nocturnal seizure. He woke up, he's 6. Normally, that kid doesn't wake up for nothing. The fact that I seized enough for him to wake up is what is freaking me out. He woke up, his sister in her bedroom told her that mommy's having a seizure. She got up, she called 911. I came to, I think it was like maybe 20 to 5 is when I regained full consciousness. And there was medics in my bedroom, and I had no idea what happened. I was confused, and I don't know, like, this bothers me so much that this is happening. And I don't know what to make of it. I know for sure that there's something wrong in my body, in my brain. I know that there's something wrong. I just don't want to just treat the symptoms. That is not what I want to do. I want to get to the bottom of what is going on with me. And I will get to the bottom of what's going on with me. Trust and believe I will get to the bottom of this. This whole thing about just putting a pill and just, manage the symptoms forever for something that just started happening now in my 40s. No, I need to understand why. I need to know why. And then I need to stop whatever it is that I'm doing that's causing me to seize every month. I need to understand that. So that is my goal. Right now, I'm still strict keto. And I'm going to remain strict keto to try to mitigate and see. And I am going to continue exercising. This week is Thanksgiving week. I took a break from exercising, so I haven't been going to CrossFit this whole week. I haven't walked, but I'm planning on doing so tomorrow. Just go for like a light walk. But I am still eating healthy. I sleep at the same time, 9:30 at the latest. I'm in bed asleep, and I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. And so I am keeping to my schedule, and I'm keeping to the way I'm eating, and I'm hoping that something is going to click. I'm also keeping track and writing down everything that I consume or how I feel. And every night before I go to bed, I check in with myself, like, how do you feel? How's your stomach? Because normally my stomach hurts first, and then I would seize in the night. So I check in with myself just to make sure that I am okay before I close my eyes and fall asleep. I am going to figure this out, even if it's the last thing I do. I promise. I am not going to be a pill popper for the rest of my life. I am 40 years old. 40 years old. I still want another kid. I cannot be worried about seizures and stuff. I need to figure out what this is, fix it, and then continue with my life. And this has the potential of putting me in a state of such depression, which I am refusing. I'm remaining positive. I'm remaining hopeful that there will be a solution. I will figure this out for myself. I don't care what other people say. I don't care. I am going to help me help myself figure out what is wrong. Something is wrong. I'm going to figure out what it is. Thank you for watching. Until next time.